Nick Rambles here. The dude's 27 years old, is broke, still living with parents. These are getting more and more popular, aren't they? Let's get into it.
Years old and I'm broke. No, you don't need to get the smallest violin playing for me. I'm okay. All right. I'm all right. But I wanted to talk about this. The reason that I wanted to talk about this, and I decided to get on the bicycle here, I got a car in real life, okay? I do have a car. I'm not that broke, okay? But I wanted to get on the bicycle to embody the struggle a little bit, because at 27, I won't lie to you guys, I have absolutely struggled. I've struggled with jobs, with money, and I wanted to talk about it because I think sometimes, especially in American culture, I don't think it's like this in all places in the world, but especially in the US, there's a lot of people that kind of expect to have everything figured out at a very young age. And I think the more that you start to live in the real world, some people are completely detached from reality, but if you have friends in the real world and you live a normal life, you start to realize that a lot of people are struggling, and it's not easy to get ahead. It's not easy to move out either. I mean, I'm still living at home. Me and my fiance still living at home. And I think there's always been kind of a stigma around that. And the idea that, how could you be living at home in your 20s and whatever, like, get your shit together. And
you got a fiance.
Again,
So he's 27, broke, got a fiance though. What's your excuse, boys? He's doing so right. He's got a fiance.
Have friends in the
Oh, did I misspell it? I'll fix it.
I think it's much easier to understand that not everybody's moving out, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. So I'm going to talk about what I've been doing over the past few years, how I ended up in this position, what I'm anticipating, what I'm planning.
No, the title's correct on the string. Get me off this planet, bro.
Do what I'm currently doing to get out of this situation. And for me and my fiance to go and start, our own life, right? But I'm going to talk about some of my friends as well and kind of how they ended up where they are, and just to give you guys an idea of what reality is at this age and at any age in life. I mean, I'm 27, but again, there's a lot of 20-year-olds that start thinking, I got to get out of the house. I can't. How am I not chill out a little bit. Hear what I have to say and come to your own conclusions. If you're someone that has been able to move out at a young age, you're making a lot of money in your 20s, God bless. That's amazing, but it's difficult. And I'll start with, so I have a small group of friends. Okay, I have a small group of friends, and out of these 3 friends, one has managed to move out, and all 3 of them are working traditional careers. So one of them's in cybersecurity, the other one's in sales, and the other one's in the medical field. And the one that was able to move out was the one in cybersecurity. But they're all making okay money. They're fine. And they live in 2 of them live in New York. The other one's in Florida. The one in Florida was able to move out. But he did it because he moved out with his brother and another friend. And now he's in a position now where he can go and rent his own place and whatever. But initially, he had to move out with 2 other people because it's difficult to pay rent and have enough money to do that at a young age. And the other 2 are still living at home as well. And again, they're making, regular money, regular job money, whatever. And I am the crazy one that has tried to make a living on the internet, which I will talk about today. And I'll give you guys a little bit of understanding of what to expect from that, because I think there is a lot of conversation around escaping, especially online, escaping the 9 to 5 and making a living on the internet and just quit your job and go and escape the rat race and become rich online, which it's not that simple. Okay. It's not that simple. I promise you that, because I've lived it over the years, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible either. But anyway, 3 friends, one managed to move out, the other 2 still living at home, and I'm still living at home as well. Right. So this idea that you need to kind of have everything figured out and you need to move out early 20s, get your shit together. It's not that simple. And it's okay if it takes you a little bit of time. And tune out the shit you hear online. Because again, if you just have friends in the real world, you're not going to hear this shit. The only place that you hear people saying, get your act together, figure it out, go make a shit ton of money and go live on your own, get away from your parents and whatever. It's just toxic shit that you see on the internet. Most of the time, you're never going to hear that in the real. Most people in the real world would be like, yeah, it's a struggle out there. Right? It's a struggle out there. It's hard. It's hard to make a good amount of money. It's hard to make money to pay rent, to pay bills, to do that. It's just, that's reality. That's reality. You can't escape it. But again, it's it's different for everybody. Some people find a way to break through earlier on. And again, if that's you, power to you. It's great. But a little bit of my backstory. I was on the traditional path and I went to law school. So I got my college degree. Okay, so I didn't drop out of college. I went to college. I did the 4 years, did everything I had to. At the time, I was working as a hockey coach. I was making a little bit of money doing that. And my plan was to go to law school and become a lawyer. So I do a year of law school, and it was during, it was 2020 that I go to law school, and it was online because of what was going on in the world at the time. And after that first year, I had to drop out. And I'm not going to get into full details as to why I dropped out because I don't know what YouTube's rules are about talking about this topic. I'll leave it at that I had to leave for circumstances outside of my control in 2021. Okay, I will leave it at that. Partially, I'm not going to talk about this because I don't know what YouTube's rules are on this topic, so I'm not going there. And also, I don't want to fight with people over this because this is really a personal decision, and I don't care what your decision was around this thing going on at the time. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Right? Are we on the same page? I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I had to leave in 2021 for circumstances outside of my control, and after that, I didn't know what to do, right? Because I had this vision in my mind that I was going to be a lawyer. Right? I was going to be a lawyer, and that's going to be my salary, and that's what I'm going to do with my life. And now I'm in a position where I just get kind of blindsided, and I'm like, okay, I guess I got to figure something else out now. So immediately
Someone said you got to get out of your parents' place early here in Sweden at 18. You're out. I think that's the worst decision you could possibly make. Why would you kick your kid out at 18? It's the biggest fucking psyop that we have here in the West. Kick your kids out early. Don't help them. You know, there's so much wisdom that your parents have that you could use from 18 to like 24. Unless you're just gifted in some way or earning a ton of money or on a full ride, you need to stay at home and you need to save money, right? If your family's not rich, stay at home, save money, soak up as much wisdom as you can. And then you're able to, on a better financial footing, start your life a little later in that sense. This is new. This 18-year-old out the house thing, this is fairly new concept that sprung up out of America in like the 50s, 60s because of like the extreme financial wealth that was experienced by the middle class that your child could leave basic job, sustain themselves with no problem. That's no longer the case anymore. The rest of the world, people live with their parents up until they're like 30 years old. So I don't understand why we kick our kids out so early. And that's why when immigrants come to the United States, they tend to do so well because the families stick together. They'll have like multiple people living in one house that normally an American's like, no, dude, this should be the parents' house and that's it. And they have this giant house to themselves. No, it's like the parents, like the uncles and the aunts. It's the kids. I'm not saying you got to go to that level and have fucking 20 people in a house. But I'm saying if you're a child or if you're a parent, have your child in that house until they're like mid-20s or ready to financially leave. Help your child. Like even if you don't have money, like you have no money to give your kid, if they can live with you until they're 24, that's value. Because the other kid at 18 that was forced out, he's paying rent at 18. That's free money going to somebody else out of the pocket of your own family. That's so stupid, dude. That's the dumbest thing we've ever done.
Do what a lot of people do in this day and age, and I decide to turn to the internet because I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess I could try to work from home, try to figure something out, and go from there. Freelancing, whatever. It was very popular at the time, still is today, but especially then. And I decide to try to learn how to code because I think that's pretty much a starting point for a lot of people when it comes to wanting to work from home. And I learned a little Python for a month, but as the time started going on, I started to kind of realize like I can't do this. Like this is not for me, and I was okay with that. I was okay.
He sounds like me, literally.
I could not envision myself doing that for a living. It's just it wasn't for me. So then I decided to give streaming a try on Twitch, and the reason that I did it was because I'd seen other people doing it and making a decent amount. You watch enough streams on Twitch, and you see people making a pretty decent amount of money, and I'm like, okay, I mean, even if I can make a fraction of that, that wouldn't be bad. It would be a decent income, and I managed to turn that first channel into something that was making me a decent enough income. It was making me between $3,000 and $5,000 a month, which to me,
whoa,
at that time especially, I didn't even appreciate it as much as I do now. But at that time, it was unbelievable. And I was also on Twitch at a time that I think people were spending more, which was something that when you're working in, especially on Twitch, on the internet, you have to understand there's hot and cold seasons. So that's something you have to keep in mind. It's the same thing with business too, is that there's times where people are just going to be more willing to spend money, especially in something like Twitch, where the money that you're making is primarily donation based, right? And at that time, there were a lot of people spending money because people were getting stimulus checks. So a lot of people were just way more willing to go and throw money around. And I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I capitalized on it. Now I ended up leaving Twitch after about a year for a few different reasons, but primarily it got to a point where I just wasn't happy doing it. I wasn't happy doing it. I wasn't really happy with the state of like the community that I was in and what I built, and I walked away. And some people would hear that and be like, "You're so stupid." I mean, you had such a nice income from it. Like, why would you leave? And
yeah, you're out of your fucking mind.
I felt that it wasn't for me, and I wasn't happy with it. So
you fucking dropped the ball. Can you imagine making $3,000 to $5,000 a month, not really understanding how lucky you are that you're just streaming and saying something like, I can't agree with him here. Oh, I just didn't like the community I built. Who gives a fuck, bro? Are you out of your mind? Do you know how hard it is to get started as a streamer? I wish I got started as a streamer. I wish I started, when I started streaming, I maintained it. I'd be getting thousands of views, tens of thousands of views every live stream right now. But I don't have a schedule set. And I'm barely now getting back into streaming. It takes a while for people to understand that you're doing, consistent streaming. If you get started on just like offline videos that you upload, that's typically the audience you get. If you get started on streaming, nothing beats a live stream audience, nothing. And the fact that you can speak with everybody back and forth like this, you could be active, it makes recording so much more fun. I don't understand. Some people are scared to live stream. Other people like to just record offline and edit their videos. I enjoy live streaming more. I just don't do it because you need like a good internet connection. I've been on the move for a minute, and not every place has good internet, so it sucks. But streaming's fun. I like to read the chat. I like to interact with the chat. They say stupid shit. It makes me laugh. The jokes, stuff like that. If you require, I guess, well, first, let's just say you're awkward on camera, so you feel awkward recording. So, okay, maybe that, especially in a live setting, makes you feel awkward. But no, Starlink sucks for live streaming. Starlink's good for recording stuff offline. But I think what people are scared of live streaming is that these people that record their offline videos have like scripts. Oh yeah, don't worry, Eric. I just wiped everybody off of the modding power, all that stuff. I wiped everybody that was banned too. I turned on auto mods, so don't worry. Yeah, for those that were mods, yeah, don't worry about it. Just enjoy the stream now. You don't have to do any modding. Let the fucking bots do all the work. That's all. We just have to avoid bad words. Everybody else could say what they want, according to YouTube rules. So, the people that offline record videos come off very stiff when it comes to speaking to the camera. So like if they don't have a script in front of them and shit that they're reading, they suck. Yeah. Well, welcome. I never had that problem. All my videos were off the top. I say what I'm thinking of, and it's all live, and you guys see me when I'm fucking crashing out. I don't really bite my tongue. Online video, offline video, doesn't matter, like live streaming. People that are in the private community and hear me talk on the fucking Zoom calls are like, bro, you literally sound exactly like your videos. No shit, dude. I don't have scripts and shit. It's just live. We're just talking. That's why it works, because I don't have to do too much prep. The only time I prep is when I have to do insane amounts of deep research on those topics that I've been doing, where I'm like, I guess you could call that monologuing. Bro, because I have notes and shit. Like I need to be able to cite things properly. I can't just spit information out of my ass. So in that sense, I have notes prepared. But that's it. That's about as much as I'll do. Anything else is like too much work. Fuck that. I'd rather speak to people.
I walked away, and ever since I've been trying to figure out how to kind of supplement that income again, because I'm all the while I'm still living at home trying to figure things out. I had a great year, and I move on. I get into copywriting. Copywriting was, and the reason I'm telling you guys these things is because I think sometimes when people are maybe late teens, early 20s, and you hear people kind of talking about the freedom that is working online, it's there. Potential is there. And that's why I'm still trying to make money on the internet in different ways now. But it's absolutely there. It's just you have to understand that all of the avenues are different, and they all come with possibilities, but also with drawbacks. And it's stuff that you have to be aware of going in. So you can't just blindly, like, if any of you are in a position where you're not able to like, if your parents are trying to kick you out, if your parents aren't patient with you and aren't supporting your your vision, then yeah, stay in the 9 to 5 job and do whatever it is on the side. Right? Do whatever it is on the side, but don't just be like, I'm just going to go all in on this because it's just going to work. And if you don't have those support systems in place, I'm very lucky. I have a great support system. My parents are okay with what I'm doing, and my fiance is okay with what I'm doing. So I'm able to do this. I'm able to, I have two sources of income right now. One is the YouTube, which I will talk about a little bit, but the other is day trading. And the day trading is taking way more of my time now. And the day trading is like absolutely full time.
Bro, this guy's literally living my life. I was in school to be a lawyer or a dentist. I quit. The only difference is I started my own business, but I also day traded, right? I also started a YouTube channel, did the online thing, just in like a different time frame. 27 years old. Look at him. I was also living with my parents.
Up at 6:45 in the morning, and I'm trading the market till usually at least market close, which is 4 p.m. and sometimes it's after hours. So I'm literally in front of a screen looking at charts and entering, exiting positions all day.
It's so interesting.
That's absolutely full time. So it's not like, you just do it for 30 minutes, make a lot of money and walk away. Again, that's pros and cons to whatever it is that you're doing. But before I get too far off topic into that, I brought up the copywriting because this is another one. It's freelancing, and people hear it and they're like, oh, well, I could just go and be a freelance copywriter. I mean, a lot of people do that. Some people do drop shipping, some people do copywriting, some people do coding. So I tried copywriting and this is after Twitch. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe I can make a decent amount. And copywriting wasn't bad. It absolutely wasn't bad. And I would say that if you're someone that, like myself, I had a knack for writing. I was okay. I was good enough. And it was an easier skill for me to learn than coding. So if that's you, there's money to be made in copy. Granted, it's not easy.
I don't know how well copywriting is doing with the advent of AI. That's interesting. And someone said, you can't see me yanking people's fucking teeth. I couldn't either. After I shadowed a dentist, I was like, no, I'm good on that. No thanks.
Breaking into the field, it takes time, it takes effort, and you're going to get a lot of rejections. You're going to get a lot of, I started off on Upwork.
Means it's true.
Started off on Upwork, sent out a whole bunch of applications.
No, I would have been really good at law. I like doing case studies, research. I love writing. I was a very strong writer, and had a very good vocabulary until I started slowly turning retarded because I started consuming a lot of slop, just like everybody else. Especially after I started the YouTube channel, and I had to do research on TikTok to find clips, so my brain was constantly slopified, and now I struggle finding words. I didn't get jabbed up. I got TikTok brained out. So that's why I stopped doing reaction, because literally my brain was melting and I was losing my ability to remember shit. So I could see my speech pattern, my vocabulary, my English was starting to suffer based on the content that I was consuming. And that's why I read books now and shit like that. I got a bunch of books behind me. I brought my books with me, and I only consume long form content because Jesus, dude. There's a point there where you can see that you were like forgetting mid-sentence what the fuck you're talking about.
And whatever, and got denied a whole bunch of times, got ignored, but eventually a couple were fine, and they worked, and I got accepted, and I had a decent run. I at my peak, sometimes I'd make a few $100s in a week, which wasn't bad. Like living at home, making that kind of money, just writing, being at my laptop, writing a few whatever it was that I was doing. I mean, I ended up writing for a truck parts company. Like, it was such a random thing, but like the website needed copywriting for these random truck parts, and the guy was paying great. He'd pay me like $30 for like a little block of copy, which took me like 15 minutes, which was awesome. So there's plenty of potential in whatever it is that you're trying to break into. It's not, the problem is with working online is that it can be inconsistent. And when it's good, it can be great. But when it's just kind of quiet and not really working, it can be a bit of a struggle. So again, you need that patience. You need a support system. You need people that understand what it is that you're trying to do and what the possibilities are. But again, not everybody has not everybody's in that position, right? And so you have to be realistic. You have to be realistic about whatever it is that you're doing and the possibilities and how long certain things take. Now, after the copywriting, I actually gave Twitch another try. I did okay the second time around, and it wasn't like the first time, and I just kind of basically ended up coming to the same conclusion that it's not for me here. It's not for me. And wow. That's probably the one thing that I did that I was I did not need to do. I did not need to come back a second time. It's just when you're living this in the moment, and you're trying to figure out how to make money on your own and be self-sufficient without going to traditional path. Because I've had traditional jobs over the years too. Because some people would just be like, just get a regular job. I've done it. Okay, I've washed dishes. I did that for probably I'd say that one was a little more short-lived, like 4 months, maybe a little bit less. I don't remember, but that one was short-lived. I worked in catering. I worked as a waiter at a catering place for about a year. I mentioned that I worked as a hockey coach. So that one was a little bit untraditional, but more traditional, I guess, than what I'm doing now. But I've had those jobs. Okay, I've done those jobs, and I've realized that it's just not what I want to do.
I had the same realization very early. I got sick of the same fucking type of bosses, the same stupid deadlines, the same corporate talk of, wow, I'm a good wage cuck and what's expected of me, and clock in and clock out like a fucking cattle. And when you do the calculation after your first paycheck of how long it's going to take you to attain the thing you want, it'll make you pull your hair out of your head. Seriously. I don't know how a lot of people do. Well, I know how people do it because I used to do it. Yeah, labor in exchange for money is awful. It really is. Unfortunately, most people just don't know how to start something that is trading your ideas for money. Like, we're taught in school how to be laborers, how to trade the time, how to trade your 2 hands and 8 hours a day for a paycheck. And you're not taught how to make money off your ideas, how to scale an idea and make it profitable, or how to teach yourself a hard skill with your 2 hands, which you can make something that you can sell to people. Whether it be a service, like my father taught me masonry, stucco masonry, so I could always go back to that. If times ever get hard, if, let's just say, YouTube disappear, if all my income disappear, my investment, everything disappears, I got nothing. For me, it wouldn't be difficult to go back to masonry. I just go back to the United States. I'll go back to doing my European style masonry, high-end shit. And I would outcompete everybody because I'm doing the work with my own 2 hands. My overhead would be much smaller than a big company. And I could do some high-quality shit. And that's my way out. So I know how to do stuff with my own 2 hands. But a lot of people don't have any of these skills. They were never taught anything except, hey, you go to college. And unfortunately, what they teach you in college is getting replaced by AI. So by the time you graduate, there's nothing really for you to do. So a lot of young people are faced with this dilemma right now. They're seeing like, hey, dude, I don't know what to do with my life. I go to school, kind of learning a bullshit topic. They tell me this is a good degree to get because this is probably one of the few safe jobs that are left. It doesn't really resonate with my soul. I don't really have an idea of what I want to do when I'm grown up. It's hard to date. I'm already broke, and life's getting harder by the minute. So you're just kind of going through these motions, you would say. And then you find yourself 27, 30, 35, the anxiety builds, like, oh, fuck, what do I do? You're gaming with the boys. Everybody's got a low state of anxiety, playing Call of Duty. We're all chilling, letting some steam off, bitching about our shitty lives and our jobs. And, hey, bro, what's the next move? Your boss hiring, you got an extra position about, I just put in extra overtime here, blah, blah. And it's just like, you start to go gray. Clock ticks. Father time doesn't stop for nobody. And then you find out one day, dude, you're just like, wow, like, what has this all been for? I clock in, I clock out, go to bed, wake up, clock in, clock out, go to bed, wake up. I get 2 days to really enjoy myself. Can't really enjoy those 2 days. You used to be able to go out, party, meet some cool people. If you're lucky, hook up with a girl. If not, whatever. That's all gone now. We live in a weird society. People are so antisocial today. That's not even a thing anymore. You can't even enjoy yourself over the weekend. It's too fucking expensive. The clubs cover charge are garbage. The music is garbage. The people are garbage. The women are garbage. Dating is garbage. What the fuck do? You make garbage money. Garbage jobs are available. And shit, life feels like garbage, dude. That's it. And then they're wondering, hey, why are men checking out? Why do men feel like doing anything? Why do men feel like I'm 27 years old, broke, and I'm a fucking loser? Like, I don't got shit going for me. This is why. Yeah. If you haven't, boys, hit the like button. I think that helps push the stream. I have no idea. I know if you don't hit the like button and comment on normal videos, I always forget on normal videos to tell you guys, please hit the like button and subscribe like some fucking goober and shit. I don't want to sound like these fucking YouTubers, but apparently if you don't hit the like button and subscribe, nothing happens. They suppress the shit out of your video. The algorithm's too stupid. Yeah, chat engagement helps. I don't even know. Yeah, chat away. Just spam the fucking chat. Jesus.
I want to try to make it on my own and be able to work from my computer or laptop, whatever
engagement for me.
So that's just my situation. I understand that not everybody is like that. And that's okay too. If you want to go to traditional path, go to traditional path. But there's struggles either way, right? And that's really the point of this video, is to acknowledge that you can go to traditional path. I have 3 friends that have gone traditional paths. 2 of them are still in the same exact situation that I'm in. They're in the same situation. They're still living at home, right? And they're on trajectories to eventually move out, but it's going to take time. It's not easy, right? And I'm the crazy one working online, trying to make money online, but I'm in the same exact situation that they are. And granted, one of them moved out. One, fine, okay, but really,
damn. Somebody said I'm supplementing with about half a gallon of milk a day at minimum because the price of food is so high everywhere. Fuck, that's rough. G.
Another point here is that stop setting a time limit on yourself. Again, I understand that not everybody is in a great situation. Some people, their parents are not going to give them that kind of leeway, and they're going to be on their ass to get out, and that's going to make you go and do stuff that you don't want to do. But if you are in a position where your parents aren't putting that pressure on you, don't put that pressure on yourself. Right? Figure out what it is that you really want to do. Understand the possibilities, the drawbacks, what can really happen here, how long things can take. Like, I'll be transparent about the YouTube stuff. Like, this is something that, the reason that I'm getting into the day trading more is because income-wise, YouTube is very unforgiving early on. I'm now I'm 6 months in. I started March 1st, and now I'm recording this September 6th. So I'm over 6 months into my YouTube journey. And one, in the beginning, you're not making anything because you're not monetized right away. You have to get monetized. So, there was, I got monetized in early June. So 3 months, I made nothing. And then I made, I think the first one was like a little under $200 for a month. Then a little under 400, and now I just broke 400 for a month. Like I'm getting a check for like $425 for a month of work, which in the US, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, like I'm not appreciative, because again, I wasn't making anything 6 months ago, and now I'm making $400, which is cool. Like, that's awesome. I'm very grateful for that. But to live off of that, I mean, you can't live on minimum wage on average. In some places, you're making $600, $600 a week. Right? I mean, in the U.S., right? So 400 for a month. I mean, that's not really gonna be enough to provide. That's not gonna be enough to pay bills. If you want to move out, like it's not realistic. So if you're someone that in your mind, I'm just gonna do YouTube, temper your expectations, because it takes a very long time for it to turn into something that is wildly profitable.
Actually, it doesn't. I've done it. I've showed the private community how to do this, faceless channels. I don't want to give mine away. But I'll read the statistics off screen real quick. 1 second. Let me see what the numbers are. Let me take my glasses off because internet autists will find out everything. So, okay. I have a channel here that I started literally, and in 30 days got it monetized with, AI voices from 11 Labs. I teach people how to do this exactly, by the way. And I'll tell you what it made. It already made $1,800 in this last 30 days. My last month was much better. I think it did $7,000. Yeah, $7,000. I had a couple videos. One of them got close to 1 million views, something like that. I started the channel something around June, or I think around June-ish, July. It's produced already over $9,000 and consistently producing more and more, and it'll grow. And I did this essentially with 11 Labs. You could do this with like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want. And I go through the entire process in the private community. It's not hard, actually. I teach people how to find the videos, right? How to script the video, how to edit the video. Exactly. Like how to look for niches. I spent like hours creating a guide for people on how to reproduce this as well. So look, I'll screenshot this right here just so you can see. This says for the last 90 days, but barely got monetized. A month in, and I don't even consistently post videos. I should. But if I was able to do one video a day, definitely this channel could do like $10,000 to $20,000 monthly. No problem. So let me get this screenshot. And where is this shit at? Okay, there you go. So I'll put this up on the screen and make it bigger. You see? Right here. So that's proof. So there you go. That's what it looks like. That's in the last 90 days, right? It shows you right here. $9,000. No, it penalized
$5
channels.
How do we join your class?
I have, it's a guide on the private community. Let me post the link to the private community, actually, right here. Legion of Men. We just did a private community call, but when you look in the classroom here, I have some basic stuff. Look, the YouTube Masterclass, and this is where people learn how to do this. Look, the niche research is what I have. I'm not trying to fucking plug my own shit, but how to find a proper video, all that stuff.
Welcome, guys. This will be the first video in a series of.
So that's day one, niche research. That's 20 minutes for you. This is 36 minutes.
The second or the
We'll
a
go
month
through
ago, all with the
Right. Day 3 is the voice generation editing. That's a 51-minute video. And then I have a short one here that's A to Z on YouTube that just shows you for free on YouTube for the guys. But this is, if you look in the description of every video, it has the link on how to join these. We have a free community too, by the way. If you haven't joined the free community, at least, but on the private one is where I have those videos for you guys if you were interested in them. And yeah, there you go. Right there, dude. So when I had time and I was posting videos constantly and shit was going out like every couple of days, it made $7,000. So it slowed down a lot because I've been busy. I've been prepping for the streams and all that stuff. But this is how you could join. Let me get the link for you guys just directly if you wanted to join the private community. Here you go. So it's in the chat for you guys. Let's go back to this though.
Enough to live off of. So I'm saying this to tell anybody that's having this
it is
thought in their
doable,
mind, especially when you're young. Right, when you're young and you're 18, 19 and you're hungry, right? I mean, that's an energy that I've had over the years. I'm just going to go and do this and make a lot of money. And it takes time. Granted, some people break through much. There's always exceptions to any rule in life, to any circumstance. Like some people just break through and they're making a shit ton right away. But the reality is for most people on YouTube, yeah, it's kind of slow and steady growth. It takes time. Right. So that's why for me personally right now, my situation, I decided to get into day trading because that's something that I know from my own experience and my limited experience doing it and the struggles I've had, the successes that I've had, that you can make a decent amount of money trading. It takes time. It takes effort. It's not easy.
Yeah, it does.
But that's why I'm putting in a lot more time into that because to me, like that's my equivalent of a 9 to 5. Right. And
still, of all the jobs I've ever done, the coolest one by far. I mean, YouTube's cool. I love talking to people. This is cool. I would love one day to do something where I used to do this before with the Discord community, but I like to interview people. I like to have conversations. If I had people that were good at conversations, thank you, brother. Somebody just signed up. Leo, if I had somebody that I could do like group calls with consistently on topics and bounce ideas back and forth and do kind of like a discussion, that would be badass. It's just hard to find people. You would only have to do this with pretty much other YouTubers. I loved someone else just signed up. Appreciate you, Bryson. But what I like is back and forth conversations, just like when I had the podcast with the boys or when I was doing Tribe Report with Sophie. That was tight because it's easy to go back and forth. And when I had the giant Discord community of like 10,000 plus people, I would have the mods pull people to interview. And I was doing interviews. If you guys remember way back in the day, I was doing interviews with people. But it's so hard to get somebody that's like not awkward on camera, can actually speak, has a good mic, good like on camera personality. The only way you can do this is, again, with other YouTubers that are already like kind of well versed on it. It's hard. It's hard, but I prefer it. Maybe one day, if the public community grows big enough and people are good. Yeah, a lot of people do lack charisma, unfortunately. Maybe I'll do some calls with people once a while on that public community on school. And the ones that show some promise, I'll bring you on. Maybe we'll do that. That'll be like an incentive for people to join. Maybe I'll do a call once every couple of weeks on there. And for those that are like actually really good on camera, good, clear English, good personality on video, yeah, why not bring you a part of like discussions? Let's discuss like, you know, going your own way. Let's discuss how hard dating is. Let's discuss like what the issues and what you're going through. I already do that a little bit with people in the private community when I host the calls. And it's really tight. I love talking to dudes. We just had another conversation before I got on the stream, dude. I was on there for like an hour and a half. We were talking about whatever it is that we were talking about, a bunch of stuff.
I told you guys I'm up at 6:45 and I'm glued to the market till.
Oh yeah, but what I was saying, day trading. Day trading, of all the jobs I've ever had, day trading was the coolest job. I think the coolest. If it wasn't for the amount of dedication and research and time that you need to spend on the markets to kind of have an edge and be informed enough to make the highest probability like successful trade. If it wasn't for that, that's all I would do. Bro, day trading is the coolest shit ever. I swear, when you really have time to dedicate to that shit, there's nothing more badass. And I've managed to do it successfully than literally just chilling there just like this, bro, just like this. just chilling, just like this, and just checking trades and on the phone, and just like got 3 big ass screens, all with a bunch of data and stuff. Oh, it's me on the beach with my missus, and it's nice when you get a trade $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 profit, $4,000 loss, $2,000 loss. No biggie, as long as you're making money on you let your winners run and then you cut your losers short, you will make money. So I was pulling down, dude, so fucking cool. She's like, oh my God, this is somebody's salary. And literally I opened this trade 2 hours ago and I'm $6,000, $7,000 in profit. Done. Amazing. That was the best. Stressful, but also the most fun.
4 o'clock at least, if not later. Right. So I'm putting in that amount of time.
I got started day trading by literally YouTube University. I was teaching myself everything from A to Z, like how to read a stock chart, what are candles, trading styles, everything. If you're interested, that's how you get started. You have to self-teach.
And in the beginning, when you have a small account.
And on the private community, I thought about teaching guys how to use AI power trading tools. Like I was using the AI to analyze the market and help me make better informed trades. It was working, actually. We were deep in profit when we were trading crypto and stuff.
Which I do. I don't have thousands of dollars in an account. I started with $5.
I love swing trading.
And it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have successes. It's sometimes the market's just not good. Sometimes there aren't opportunities. And it's just kind of, you're not guaranteed that income on any day. Some days you might lose. I've had red days. I've had days that I've struggled. Sometimes I have green days. It's up and down. Mm-hmm. And that's the reality of anything online. Right? Anything on the internet is just, there's no guaranteed income. But when it's good, it can be great. And that's at least been my experience. Right? But that's why at this point, at this stage, you guys believe I'm on the freaking highway riding a bicycle, by the way? I just realized I'm so used to riding around the highway that I don't even realize like what I'm on right now. I just felt like getting on the highway on a bicycle. I don't care. I'm that guy. Okay. I'm that guy. But all this being said, I'm in this position now where, yeah, I'm struggling financially. I am. And I'm okay with sharing that because I don't feel that it's necessary to act like, you have everything figured out, especially in an online environment where I feel like a lot of people would rather pretend sometimes. They'd rather pretend like I don't have everything figured out. I don't fucking know. I'm trying. I'm very grateful that I have a support system that's giving me this chance to really hone in on making a living online. Because again,
yeah, what's crazy about day trading is when you start to get into leverage, that shit is so addicting and dangerous. You don't even need a lot of leverage. I used to trade on like 5x leverage, 3 to 5x, so I don't get wiped on a bad move. And then, I did risk a little bit here and 20x some shit. I dicked around and did a real small position with 100x just to see what it was like. But for the most part, if you have some discipline, 3 to 5x is more than enough. And you don't need an account balance that's big. Like I said, I started myself it's like around 19,000. And with a little bit of leverage, I built it up to 180 within 6 months. It's just that you never have full control. I degen between 30 and 50x. What a gangster, dude. Yeah. It's definitely doable, guys. So I go through those videos on the private community. Like I said, exactly how. Look, we'll go through. I'll just show you one of the videos just so you can see. Like voice generation, building the perfect script. Here's what it sounds like when it's finished. Welcome back, tribe. There. But if we run her voice through here, you'll notice the generation isn't exactly the same. So what I generate, we're generating this one with a Juniper.
The algorithm doesn't sleep, doesn't take sick days, and doesn't ask for raises. Between November 2000...
Don't like it. We'll go again.
The algorithm doesn't sleep, doesn't take sick days, and doesn't ask for raises.
A little better.
Between November 2024 and February 2025, it also didn't show mercy. Over 100,000 American workers discovered their jobs had...
What you're listening here for is... I said I walked you guys through how to make these faceless videos through all of this stuff. It
with
works,
breathtaking enthusiasm. Meta's January 2020...
Hear how dead he sounds? Listen to the beginning.
Technology sector led the charge into its own obsolescence. The technology sector led the charge into its own obsolescence with breathtaking enthusiasm.
You see? And then I go through the entire process and just teach. And all you have to do is reproduce this. And it's all here for you. That's just one example. Anyways, we also have book club, by the way, if you want to join and see. We're talking about Atomic Habits. There you go. Anywho, all right.